Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, wondrous Propagandacast with me, a host, Imperial Dane, after 2 vs 2, right here on the Minsk Pocket. We shall be watching the Soviet Union, the Ligi, and Overlord fighting here for the Soviet Union comrades. For the 4th Tank Corps versus Fahu and Insane Ivan fighting here for the Germans, for the Reich. For the Sperrverband Reinhardt, with the mechanized assault, close air support Jäger armor here for Fahu. Insane Ivan having close air support, lightning war, and joint operation. Quite a bit of close air support there. Shot rifle, Soviet army, parts and tactics for Overlord, and Ligi having gone straight here for guards. Motor over to Insane Ivan. Grenadiers starting up here, noting a dual pioneer start from Insane Ivan, hoping to grab as much territory as Fahu, opting for something a bit less pioneer heavy initially. We've seen the Soviets spreading out here as well. We're noting a special rifle command up there for Ligi initially. Bit of infantry there though. And a scout car arriving there. No deep surprises, not uncommon. The M3A1 scout car. Rapidly moving forwards along the roads of Minsk Pocket. Few there secured already. The Germans having made a good effort there, and already the point is Pioneers pushing up here. Might be home to rush water lane, that's about why, but at the same time, of course, resistance will be harsh, swift, and immediate, in particular here with the scout car. That is definitely going to be unpleasant. There we go, the Pioneers need to stop there in their tracks. The 50 caliber and the other things proving a bit too much. The Pioneers will have to succeed. Schnell. Another mine engagement here. Grenadiers coming over for conscripts. Quick taking up position here behind some minor foliage. MD42 there arriving. Will Fahu continue pushing up here as well? So far, Insane Ivan having a bit more troops on the field out than Fahu at the moment. But at the same time, not more infantry. And once here, we do note that Insane Ivan has been filling out a bit too thinly, allowing Ligi, and for that matter, to sort of striking back and forcing back. We do see Fahu here actually concentrating up, presenting a much more credible and nasty force, although over here his guys are suffering a bit there. Commies might be able to get another duck. No, we do see here that immediately Overlord loses all courage and retreats. Backpedaling rather rapidly. Gunners here not going to get the hip to pull back. MD42 sitting up. And we just see masses of infantry advancing here. Can the MD42 stop them? There goes suppressing, but we do not Molotov set up for Overlord and immediately lock that the MD42 position here for Insane Ivan is looking anything but positive. MD42 clear forced away. So it assault here up through the centre, proving quite helpful. Oh, do we see more sitting up here? Might be able to provide a bit of an obstacle here for the Russians. This is Granatenwerfer in the meanwhile. Fahu making good progress on the left flank. First shot there, falling a bit too far.
How can we help?
By Fahu. More mortar fire there in the hopes of catching some. There we go, fuel disabled for the Germans. Man engagement up here, the Pioneers swinging up, take back territory.
Grenadiers.
Interesting move here to leave the scout car around there. I mean, if it took the direct mortar, it's not going to end up well. That's for sure. But apparently Ligi, nope, they're actually pulling back here, realising they can't hang on there with the mortar constantly unleashing grenades around them. Your force moving in here as far, whose force is now slightly extended, without any support, without any command bunkers or half tracks or anything, and there we go, slowly being pushed back. The losses being too much for them. Small force there, maybe a suicide mission, maybe just there to sort of tempt him to run out of cover with a threat on a Molotov. Ligi, Stravniki moving up there, going to need to fall back. Fahu might have lost left flank there. Lagging in support, in fact, he seems to have not got a lot of units out on the field, interesting enough. Oh well. Oh well. And already here we are seeing taking up might be what Fahu's doing as well. There we go, looks like I like to make a nice company. There we go, up. So both players going for some slightly earlier attacking. Another Stravniki unit here for Ligi, pushing back the Pioneers on the right flank. The Soviets so far pushing very aggressively in across the map. Very forcefully. Insane Ivan here making a more concentrated push up the centre. Scout here might get Panzer Fausted. There we go, and with the being exposed, he could try and hunt down with the Gunners, but no, he allows it to escape. Oh, there we go, the Gunners get into pursuit. Mortar continues to fire in the hopes of catching someone. Strafniki dodging the rounds, and there you go, Scout Car taking heavy damage, Conscripts moving up. Can they get out of here? Can they get out of this tricky situation, or will the Gunners get it? Engineers getting out, Scout Car almost down. Close to mention, no, there we go, Gunners squad pushed away. Can he get it? Rifle grenade! And there we go, got Knight. Got it and prevented veterans on it. Further veterans, and of course returning back to haunt him. Like to make a opening up. We could see Panzers, we could see Scout Cars, we could see half-tracks. Pioneers here versus the Stravniki. Looks like they're having a small chance up close at the same time though. They are quickly losing members to the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifles. The Germans are definitely a bit on the back foot there. Like to make a nice company number 2 up. And we only hear a heavy mortar rang for Ligi, having gone guards mode, of course, that is available for him. Pioneers with a flamethrower pushed away, the losses continue to pile up, and there we go. Scout Car out for Fahu.
We are losing the sector. You guys, listen to me if you want to live.
I'd imagine there'll be a auto cannon up for it. No, not yet actually. He has some munitions for it, but he seems to rush it so far ahead he didn't get quite time to upgrade it. Another push for the fuel point there. You could also consider these upgrading one gun to score the light machine gun, thus furthering firepower towards his Soviet opponent. Guardsman quickly laying any advance there for the Scout Car with the anti-tank rifle, the PTRS. Though with the Soviet active prefer the PTRD, which was this bolt action anti-tank rifle, which actually more powerful than the semi-automatic, which certainly had a high rate of fire. Little fun fact there. Scout Car. Dangerous close to the mine. Also, and finally the auto cannon going up there. Conscripts rushing in. Auto cannon, by the way, basically being what you call a machine gun above a certain caliber, then it's an auto cannon. Little fun fact there.
Scout Car awaiting orders. You need indirect fire?
Troops advancing there, going with that machine gun. Half track up here for St. Ivan. Germans pushing back once more. Can they sort of keep up momentum? Support weapon company up here for Overlord. Another guard squad for Ligi. He's definitely got a bit more of the heavier infantry. We're seeing several Stravniki and now guards infantry arriving as well. Ligi's infantry will definitely be able to lay down a bit of pain there upon the Germans. There we go, gunners moving up. Light machine guns firing there. Held up behind the wooden cart, trying to advance here while the MG reloads. And there we go, the gun is on the move. The Stravniki actually have a chance here to get close and do some serious damage. But now the MG42 just able to find the time. And there goes Satchel Charge. Oh dear, they caught a bit in it. That was close. No losses then, ultimately a bit of waste of munitions. Ligi regaining left hand side as Fahu's infantry once more spreads out a bit too much. The alternating Panzer squad has arrived. Fahu needs to be careful he doesn't get too spread out again. We do note here that Ligi, in fact, Overlord are quick to overwhelm them. Oh dear, oh dear. Pioneers here versus Guards infantry. A nice few hits leveling off against the Scout Car. The Scout Car being pushed away. Nice bit of veterans there for the mortar, finally getting something. Further pressure here. Mine's getting up there, looks like a Teller mine, yes indeed.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
It looks like Fahu did indeed upgrade someone's gun to a light machine gun. About time. Shark Troopers having a rifle Overlord. Nice hit there for the mortar. And immediately hitting veteran 2. And we're seeing Jaeger armor here up for Fahu, but no half-tack, so I suppose we shouldn't be expecting the Regal Mines, which is a bit sad. A mortar there getting a nice hit there almost by the looks of the Panzer Gunners, but no, pulling back, both on the sides have Panzer Grenadier. Stravniki having charged straight into the Pioneers, and their flamethrower having taken some rather nasty losses there. Can the Pioneers just indeed, they just barely win it. Panzer's here charging straight into the Guards Infantry. Guards Infantry overwhelmed here by the Panzer Grenadier and their firepower. Maybe more here, they're a bit open. They could try and rush it, but seem a bit passive in that department.
You need some reconnaissance?
Scout car here, forgotten by Fahu, a cruel fate. Popping over here to Overlord. Potentially a cruel Overlord.
Soldiers ready. Conscripts ready and willing.
All a bit quiet here.
We are ready for anything.
Half check being repaired.
We are ready.
Lots of mortify going from either side. Both sides all seem to slow down a bit, trying to regain their breath, momentum.
Your orders, comrade.
Nothing going on in the Soviet base.
Conscripts have arrived.
Oh dear, mortar got overwhelmed. A bit overextended again. Fahu needs to be a bit more careful. Can't afford to lose a bit too mortar, I would say. Looks like it might escape. Scout car drawing the attention, but that's going to hit by anti-tank grenade. Moving in, there we go. One anti-tank grenade, second anti-tank grenade about to hit in. The Hans goes around, there we go. It looks like a field that has arrived as well. There we go. Conscious swap was wiped out though. Panzer's getting a few good kills there. Heavy mortar continues to fire. Unleash deadly volleys of death. And the grenade squad here might get executed there by the conscripts. Command bunker, empty bunker here, except it can't quite fully cover there. Now wasn't fired up, so a quick satchel charge there will sort that out. Always be mindful of how and where you place your MG bunkers. You're generally better off supporting your main position than say covering a flank like that.
Watch out for that flamethrower!
So a bit unfortunate there. Half track doesn't really do much either, not transporting, not much really. Flamethrower lost there. Strafniki already eventually 2 there, taking a heavy toll there on the pioneers in St. Ivan. And St. Ivan's panzer was here being rather punished. Oh, running straight into their own flames. That's a bit unfortunate. Forces rebuilding, regaining. Half track still not doing much. All a bit quiet here. Support armor corps, by the way, going up here for Fahu and the Sperrverbande.
There are no cowards here.
MG42 setting up and firing away in a murderous volley. Fuel cache going up, that's good thinking. Large forceman cross the entry to note Fahu has not got an MG42 or anything like that. You could of course now consider getting say a flak Panzer Stuka or a Panzer IV.
Enemy infantry is engaging us!
There you go, Panzer IV arriving. No enemy armor so far, but clearly not taking any chances since he doesn't have any other anti-tank assets. Quick smoke follow-up with a grenade. Overlord pushes through here. The blockade established by St. Ivan. Then again, he might end up still taking too much damage. And there we go, forced away. Fahu breaking through the left flank. Overlord forced to rush in more troops to try and delay the German advance there in the name of the Soviet peoples. Panzer IV might want to get up. We're seeing a heavy Panzer Corps arriving for in St. Ivan. Sounds like a mine went off somewhere. Charging straight into a light machine gun Grenadier squad. Grenadiers causing a few casualties, but ultimately in the mass proving a bit too much there.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
And there we go, Panzer IV finally moving up there for Fahu to the front line.
Watch out! Grenade!
Rive grenade there in the hopes of doing some serious damage, mortifying as well. Why is the Panzer IV not moving up? Come on, Fahu, you've had it out for certainly long enough time. You should have it ready to support your troops, but apparently aren't there for it. And there we go, finally getting it bloody well moving. Panzers need to be careful, need to choose the position correctly if they want the best chance, and there we go, entry forced away. Panzers and Panzer IV proving to be too much. Conscious swap flanking home to get the engine block there. A nice little daredevil maneuver, might not succeed. In fact, we could see constant drop there going down. There we go. Basically, 2 spot lost. Do manage engine damage nonetheless on the Panzer IV. Field gun ready. Head guards really moving in. Panzer IV needs to pull away. More times going down there. Panzer IV needs to retreat. Already the losses are getting a bit unbearable. We're noting here that he's spamming fuel caches all of a sudden. That's his 3rd fuel cache. I think that's a bit of a lot of manpower expending all of a sudden on fuel caches. Popping out to Ligi. Panzer needs to retreat. Come on. Zurückfallen. The Panzer IV doing what he can to cover the retreat. Interesting enough, the field gun was not moving up to support here. In fact, it's rather on the not fully situation. There we go, basically 2 for the guardsmen, actually increasing their weapon penetration, thus increasing their chance of penetration in the front line of the Panzer IV. Looks like he's securing the right flank there. Another machine gun bunker, by the way, by Insane Ivan. And looks like here he might be aiming for the T-3045s, a bit of a boat maneuver, and certainly the Germans, if they were pushing harder with armor and things that could punish the enemy infantry, they might be able to sort of punish them for it. But so far, there seems to be no sign of it. I mean, the Panzer IV should quickly have been followed up by, say, an Austrian or something else. Then again, they might not be quite fully aware. Of course, that's always the sort of gamble you have to take if that's your thought. Are they really just playing for doctrinal armor? And of course, in that case, should they then try and punish them with some really heavy anti-infantry stuff? And right now would be a good time. Though again, I'm sure there's that grain of doubt in their heads. Oh, but Blitz blowing up. A tragic loss. But definitely right now would then be a good opportunity for Insane Army to then go for a Sturmpanzer IV. That would really have an absolutely astoundingly grand effect there upon the opponent. But really at the 16-17 moment, and you really haven't seen any armor, you probably can't begin expecting doctrinal armor. So really something to quickly punish it might be an idea. Sturmpanzer IV would even then be able to sort of reasonably handle any medium armor. German troops here holding out against the open versus a much larger force. What are you thinking, Insane Ivan? Nein, don't do it! Ah, scheiße. And with deep equipped guardsmen as well, that is definitely a bit of an ugly situation. Panzer IV once more, give fix bereit. Fahu could be getting an Austrian right now. He could get it at least. Could also get a Stuke, which could also be helpful. I mean, just any more armor right now I think would overall do him quite well. Unless, of course, you might be thinking, well, I need an elephant tank stroke right now rather than just punish my opponent right now. Then he's advancing straight into the Slavniki, a bit of a perhaps bad maneuver right there, getting close within range with SVT 14 and the go veteran to increasing their infantry lethality. Panzer IV shifting away. Ooh. Field gun here in a bit of a nice situation. Quick barrage there, covering up. And the advantage doesn't quite succeeding in hitting in time.
Make it quick.
And, oh, for heaven's sake, a Panzerwerfer. What is it with people and getting Panzerwerfers? I mean, half the time they don't even know how to use them. It tends to get a bit dull. In particular, when right now Sturmpanzer IV would do a better trick, you know, and better job. I mean, don't underestimate the Sturmpanzer IV. I'm pretty sure that's only got more lethal thanks to this update, you know, with the further high lethality of splash attacks. Plus its heavy armor being more worth it as well. A Sturmpanzer IV could be absolutely devastating right now. Instead, it's just Panzerwerfer. And I'll bet you he'll be firing it at maximum range, thus getting maximum scatter, and thus getting minimal effectiveness. There we go. 1 kill. Great shooting, Heinrich. Yeah, I'm shooting from the safest position where I can't really hit much. Aren't I glorious? Come now, don't be afraid of using the Sturmpanzer IV. It looks like finding some armor, right, but again, it's pretty delayed. I mean, any sort of, you know, rush for then, say, an Austrian, even then 7 minutes ago by, say, Fahu could easily have done a lot more for them. Now we see T-34 now we're noting they're not even prepared for that. They've been too focused on probably getting something really heavy, or say the Panzerwerfer, to either properly punish their opponent for going for that kind of stuff, or properly prepare for then what might come. They've basically gotten the worst of both worlds. They're not prepared to handle any kind of armored assault now, nor have they sort of made any effort to sort of punish them for going for this kind of late armor, or perhaps made it less effective. So I can't help but feel a bit disappointed there. But time for the mid-game analysis. If we just know that the Germans are in a bit of a precarious situation, they have really just sort of failed in really getting any kind of advantage out of their opponents, sort of dilly-dallying for doctrinal armor of some kind. They have, well, gotten a Panzerwerfer, which again isn't really sort of good for that kind of stuff here. Their opponents really have lots of infantry, but rather than a slightly defensive posture, they haven't had a lot of anti-tank guns. I mean, they had one Panzer IV, which they haven't pushed very hard with, and they haven't really done more with any further armor. I mean, the Germans really need to get it together. They're playing way too passively and a bit too oddly. Of course, they might be worried about something, and of course I can't, read their minds through the replay. I can only sort of speculate and guess. But even then, this doesn't quite add up, to be fair, at all. I mean, they really need to sort of get into it right now. And again, a Sturmpanzer IV, but then again, the Panther might be the better choice now. Get in there. And also be a bit more bold with that Panzer. Find some good safe positions up close to your opponent to blast them with so you get less scatter. And Fahu just needs to get some more Panzers or some more Stuks out right now. A pair of Stuks could easily be acquired, I think, and that could easily actually make things a lot more difficult for the T-34s. Even the KV-8 in particular, once they get some veterans, they could actually prove to be a huge obstacle. Plus, they would be able to punish the infantry quite nicely. So really think that, the Germans should get some more armor right now and get more aggressive, a few more mines, and overall, just punish that infantry harder before they begin getting hit with huge, large armored masses, because they probably should be expecting that's going to happen soon. In fact, it looks to be about happening right now, and we're noting here, of course, that the left flank is a bit weak. We do have a field gun, we do have a Panzer IV, but at the same time they're about to be hit by an awful lot of tanks, and we're going noting here the T-34-45s, which are definitely on the heavier end of the scale compared to, say, the Panzer IV. So some issues are likely to be abound there. For the Soviets, I mean, they played a bit of a risky game again. It was mercifully for them not punished here, but the Germans apparently weren't expecting something, or they were worried about something else entirely. Now they just need to keep it up. At the same time, a part of me would say, Ligi, you might want to consider mechanized armor company to have something in case of some rather heavy anti-tank efforts, like, say, with some Panthers or something like that, which could actually put down a rather large obstacle in their plans. I mean, an SU-5 then, also an SU-76s could then also prove helpful. Plus, of course, it would provide them with artillery, because right now a pair of packs in the well-placed position, Pack 43, could actually prove to be quite the obstacle for them. But of course, we'll have to see how the Germans actually react to this. But popping back here to Insane Arvin and back to the fight. Concentrated, by the way, with a nav light machine gun. Panzer IV here blindly charging ahead there. Perhaps not the most well thought out maneuver. Field gun continue pushing back here. Trying to blitz out of there, but again, blitz PGNO isn't really that effective anymore. A bit unfortunately. Certainly not getting out of the situation. There you go. Trying to ram it and succeeds, knocking it out. Field gun continue pushing back. Why he didn't support the Panzer IV with the field gun is a bit beyond me. Smoke going down there, perhaps to cover the retreat a bit too late though. Pack 40 setting up there, at the same time Assault pushing up the centre. Panzerwerfer firing here. I wonder after what looks like some other strafing run going in there. Actually getting off most of the mortar crew there for once. Then it's in a bit of a nasty situation as well. They're getting caught down there, and they're constantly just shredding through them with the machine gun. The situation is catastrophic and dire, and again the amount of armor the Germans really have to muster against the third armor is pretty much non-existent. Insane Arm, by the way, having gone for close air support. Controlling the might of the Luftwaffe there. Oh, Panzer's being pushed away. Dann ist die Retreat. Zurückfallen. Ah, scheiße. Again, don't underestimate the power of the KV-8. And they did slightly more better. Finally, you see a Panther on the way. Kanonenvogel. Doesn't hit very well. Sniper out for Fahu. Again, I can't help but feel they've been working about the wrong things here. Back forward here, looks like he might have a chance of knocking it out. KV in a bit of trouble there. Come on, one more shot, Heinrich. Ah, scheiße. And now the tank's moving in to collapse here for the Germans. KV-8 though went down to Panzerfaust to the rear engine block. Infantry pushing in, tanks a bit on the defensive. Overlord having lost all of his tanks, and there you go. Field gun and Pack 45 where they're forcing the T-35 back. But the losses have been heavy for the Germans right here. Panzerkampfwagen 5 arrives here, the Panzer, pride of the Vaterland.
Standing by.
Panzerwerfer unleashing H-series barrage again. And hitting nothing. Again, I can't help but feel that a Sturmpanzer IV might have done Ivan more proud. Panzer moving up close there, shredding through the conscripts with the machine guns. Quick taking it. Oh, fails to penetrate the sloped 80mm armour. Panzer is hit. Large grenadier force attack, large clumped up infantry force there. Continues the push here. Right flank. Pioneer SWAT moving into a serious amount of trouble. Bunker up again. Insane Ivan does seem a bit repetitive there. Needs to move in the Panther support there if you want to challenge that bunker actually remaining a bit more helpful than for as a more than a speed bump. Oh well, too late. More T-35s are arriving again. The amount of anti-tank firepower the Germans can sort of muster is not enough. Panthers need to fall back, but under the watchful gaze of the T-35s will quickly dispatch them with haste. Panther with no infantry support, no bunker support either, needs to pull back. Nice hit there from T-35, and there we go, buttoning it up as well. And there we go, marked vehicle as well, increasing the damage done by 33%. And there you go, the Panther's almost down already. And there we go, nasty work right there by Ligi, knocking out that Panther in seconds flat. Another barrage here, which kills one guy. Well done there.
Yes?
Elephant tank destroyer arrived for Fahu, though again I have to question if the logic here might not have been a bit flawed. I mean, had he been pushing for several Stooks by now, he'd probably have more of a limit to the opponent's arm and even the infantry than he'd get in for that elephant right now. So I don't know, might just be me, of course. But I certainly can't say I feel that might have been the most efficient solution. Either way, though, Schwerer Panzerjäger on the field. Over to Fahu, the man commanding it. One of several heavy tank destroyers armed with this gun. The first one being the Nashorn, which was considerably lighter armour. They're also produced in greater numbers. And of course there was also the Yak Panther, which was overall the more efficient one, basically based on a Panther chassis. Much more manoeuvrable as well. They suffered a lot of the same issues as the Panther. Also largely only to service on the Western Front, it only saw action on the Eastern Front for like the last few months. Other way though. Elephant firing away here. Big Stuka bombing strike.
Enemy forces are securing our territory. We have 200 points remaining.
What was he hoping to achieve there? I think that was a bit of a waste.
Elephant standing by.
Overall, the Germans are having a bit of trouble here. And they've yet to actually knock out at least one of Ligi's T-35s. In fact, one is getting dangerous close eventually too. And the increase in rate of fire and thus lethality that would involve, which is generally something you want to avoid as the Germans. Fahu should definitely consider getting out some more armour, pair of Stooks, some Panzer IV, or spend something, but no, getting Panzer Grenadiers. And looks like I said the barrels going up here on the rather ordered up force here that Fahu's pushing forwards. Catching most of the and support weapons in the hellfire of the Soviet peoples. A bit of an aggressive push here, but encountering a rather serious resistance here by Gaspin and Stravniki, and more conscripts arriving. overall the situation is looking pretty bad.
We have been assigned fresh Panzer Grenadiers.
Small engagement here, but overall simply shock troopers, concepts, light machine gun and other things, pushing them back, overwhelming them. A second Panther here from Insane Ivan.
You need an elephant?
And an IS-2 here for Overlord, so that's definitely going to be in the heavier end of the armor scale now.
Enemy is taking our territory.
Small arms fire.
That's definitely going to be a lot of punching compared to how much armor the Germans overall got. They're actually going to be in a lot of trouble. In particular, considering the map, there's plenty of options here for the T-3045s to flank in on it. Plus, Mark vehicle ups all the input charging, so you can get to sort of dent it away. Panzer here firing and still not doing much. And again, once more, I can't help but feel like a Sturmpanzer IV might not have been the more admirable choice. Panther moving in. Desperately trying to repair that. Quick grenade against the Pioneers. Quickly wipes out half the unit. And there we go. Massive Soviet armoured force on the way. This is likely going to hurt. Oh, the Insane Ivan's Panther's about to get one hell of a nasty wake-up call here. Thought they're only about to deal with one tank, instead encountering the entire Soviet armoured force. Careful about blindly moving in like that, and there we go. Panther utterly knocked out in a matter of seconds. Against such a large armoured force, it stood no chance. And now simple sheer numbers will be overwhelming the Germans. There we go, one hit, but already again noting the way he used the terrain to basically ensure that the elephant would overall not have a lot of sort of ability to sort of use its range to good effect. Really nicely used armour there by Ligi. He's lost one T-3045 already, but the elephant is constantly on the move by now. Now the Fugue firing eventually, two IS-2 moving up. Can they stop this? Elephant bouncing off most of the shots here from the front, which is something, but if the T-35s can get behind, over there we go, never mind, they're penetrating still. And now less than half health, less than a third, less than a quarter, less than a tenth, and good night. Utter chaos here. And so came the end of that elephant. Field gun wiped out as well. Firing a Panzer towards the IS-2. Pack 40 are firing. Target civic point. Target civic point. Never mind. Half track blown up here. The Germans are simply getting massacred. Come on, Ivan. Target big point. Why do people always keep forgetting about that one? Well, over to Overlord here. His IS-2 barely managed to push away that Pack 40 crew. Base getting shredded. Another elephant here riding for Fahu. Noting two Vetri 2 T-3045s. They're both on a damage engine as well. One down, two to go. IS-2 pulling back for repairs. Good job there. Looks like this T-35 tank is escaping. Whereas this one looks like it might not. And there we go. It went down. Unable to resist the power of the 88mm gun. But overall, the German situation is currently looking pretty terrible, and their chances of recovery are, well, pretty much non-existent. And so overall now the opponents have more armour, and while they do have one elephant left, again with the kind of numbers and the kind of tactics that the Soviets are employing, it's rather going to be limited. Might be able to get that one though.
Engineers ready
Maybe.
for assignment.
No, it looks like he quickly managed to escape here. Pulling up behind the terrain, ensuring the elephant can't get a clear shot. Well done. Another Panther out. T-35 looking to escape. The Wrath. Can the Panther get vengeance? All the other Panthers racked. Can it do it? Main gun destroyed. One more shot there. Come on, Heinz. You can do it. T-35's on the far opposite, so they can't help their comrade. Stuck in a tank about to blow up. Large guards force moving in. A game of crippled cat and mouse. Looks like the Panthers realising it's about to get into a very nasty situation since it's gone far ahead without any support.
Waiting order down.
Noting here the Elephant isn't really doing much, although it looks like what's killing some men laying down a tripwire flare mine. Odd decision to put it down there, and there go two T-35 moving in there. Panther exposed, lacks maneuverability. Looks like an aerostrike going in there. Mark vehicle are also arriving.
The enemy has 100 points remaining. Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
As long as it can bounce shots, it might have a chance then again. There we go, Elephant also firing. Looks like that's the Kanonenvogel. Light damage done.
Fresh units on the field.
The IS-2 advancing. Victory points not been good for the Germans, by the way.
The enemy has 75 points
KVA.
remaining. You appear suited for command.
Legends 1 right there for the Elephant. Might have a chance there with the target weak point on that IS-2. Maybe? Maybe not. Shoots and misses.
50 caliber machine gun turret has arrived.
Points continue to tick down.
Points remaining. AB-8 flamethrower tanks are now available to burn the Germans back to Berlin. Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Large conscript force here, largely safe from the Grenadiers. KV ready to block any advance towards that victory point. Nothing guarding this, though, although quick incendiary battles could always be called in.
Victory is in our grasp.
Might as well just speed up these last few seconds.
Territory is falling into enemy hands. People anticipate our victory. The enemy has 10 points remaining.
And there we go, game over. Bit of a nasty fight there. Some interesting moments again. I mean, the Germans really committed a grave series of errors in terms of strategy, which overall allowed the Soviets to carry out their strategy pretty much unharassed and unharmed, which again was sort of really one of the major issues in contention. I mean, he immediately just said Fahu's response apparently once sort of realised, you know, they might be rushing us with armour. It was then to sort of double down and go for a large tank destroyer, which of course, considering the terrain, could easily be overwhelmed and swarmed, which rather limited the effect of nothing. Instead going, okay, I'll just get a lot of tanks myself because I have the option for it. Or getting something to punish the infantry, thus, you know, hurting them for not having enough armoured and anti-tank assets. In that department, they're really committing a dual sort of grave error, basically getting the worst of both things and thus ultimately not reaching much and ultimately make themselves an easy target. Same with Insane Ivan. Going for one Panzer IV again, you know, just keep firing it at the maximum range, not really getting most out. In fact, still Panzer IV might have been the better choice. And, well, of course, Panthers, and again just charging them blindly in several cases, quickly getting them wiped out, not apparently learning much. They're ultimately not getting much out of his Panthers either. I mean, there were definitely some problems there in terms of overall strategy there from the Germans, and certainly while the Soviets were risky, as long as they weren't punished for it, they could actually easily pull it off, and that's essentially what happened. They were not punished, they were not spotted or anything, and they largely got away with it without much harm. Except when they pushed into the base, of course, got caught there by a second Elephant. Until then, in fact, they knocked out the first one pretty easily. Panthers didn't really prove much of an issue either. I mean, overall, you know, you need to sort of outthink your opponent. Again, overall, come up with the sort of the best strategy, or at least something that fits you. And again, you know, the Elephant there, just doubling down with all those fuel caches, and then aiming for an Elephant I mean, several Stuks would have done better, several Panzer Force, and Austrians and Panzer Force, something that can actually apply more pressure then, and punish their opponent for saving for heavy armor, and possibly having a greater hold of the map, and overall a better chance of dominating the map. So that would be my opinion on mountains. But I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something of it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own, provide some feedback in the comments. Links for sending in replays and all that are in the description. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.